Hi staff, over the last couple of days I've had some people ask me how to use the assessment calendar function in SEQTA, so I thought I'd just create a little video to help you figure out how to make use of it. This is really useful when you start to do that negotiation with your students to figure out when the best time is for them to sit their assessments. Obviously we're looking to try and avoid loading our assessments all onto the one day, and sometimes it's a bit difficult across departments to figure out when other departments have their assessments, etc. So this is just a quick check that you can run in SEQTA to help you do that. So the first thing that we need to do is we go down to this little spanner icon down here and we click on that. And if you haven't already got it selected previously, you need to go to academic reports, and then within academic reports you go to reporting. And this will bring up a whole list of possible reports that you may be able to print. Some of those you'll have access to, some of those you won't. Up here is a little search icon, and you can type into that search icon assessment, and it will bring up anything that has that word in it. And it's this one here that says assessment calendar, and you'll see that they've got these little stars next to them. If you click in that star, what that does is it makes it a favorite, and so all of your favorite reports that you want to run will now appear at the top of your list. So I'm just going to run you through as an example one that I would do with my year 11s. So it's the assessment calendar that I'm looking for, and I am going to choose my year 11 class. So I'm going over here to class. I'm going to choose the timetable period, which is 2022S for secondary, and I know it's my year 11 class, and I know that it is going to be AE because it's my ATAR class, and there it is, it starts to come up. So I click on that, click OK, and it then populates my year 11 students into my class. Now the next thing you do is you have to choose your date range. So I'm actually just going to go back to the beginning of this week, because this is when I actually performed this function with my class, and you may want to look maybe 2 weeks into the future to figure out when's the best time to book your assessment. Now I'm suggesting that all staff should have, as part of their planning, a rough guide as to when they want to be doing these assessments, and that these assessments should be made visible through SEQTA. If you're not quite sure how to do that, please check out one of my other videos. But once you've got all your date range in, you click print. And what SEQTA does is it goes away and it grabs all of the information that it can find that relates to that particular bunch of students and any assessments that have been made visible in all of their classes in SEQTA. This is why it's really important that every staff member is following this same procedure. And so what you do is you click to open up the document, and it brings you up this PDF document here. Now what I do is I actually put this on the board and I display this with the students, and I actually go through and I show them when their assessments are. Most of the time they're pretty honest and will say when they are, but just in case, this is just a nice way of keeping track. And so what you can see is that this was the assessment that I organised for yesterday for my guys to be working on, and that was negotiated because there was nothing else on that day at that particular time. And then you can see that what I've had to do for my next assessment, which I wanted to do in rapid succession, is I had to find another day when I could do that with them. Now I decided not to do it on the Friday, because they already have 2 assessments listed here, so I didn't want to give them a third assessment to have to sit on that day. So I've moved forward to the next week, and the Monday I decided not to give it to them on the Monday because I wanted to give them one lesson of last minute revision. And so I found that there was nothing on the 22nd, on the Tuesday, and so that's when I chose to hold this assessment. Just looking forward to the rest of that week, I can see here that there are a number of assessments, potentially all on the same time. And at this stage, that's probably because either the staff haven't gotten round to actually finalising that date, or they haven't had an opportunity to see that there are already a number of other assessments on that day. But this assessment calendar function just gives you that ability to negotiate with your students to find an ideal time for them to sit that assessment. And that is pretty much it. In terms then of, just coming back out. In terms then of what do we do with that? Well, I then go back into my class. I go onto my cover page. And I go to the overview of assessments. And so what I can do is I can go into my assessments, and having now decided which day is the best day for the students, I can then change that assessment date accordingly. And when I then have this ticked, so all details are released and that is saved, then I know that all of that information is sent out to the students. It is also sent out to the parents via the parent SEQTA Engage app. But I also know that all staff are able to see this assessment date also. If, when you look at your assessments, the assessment is currently hidden, then it will not appear on that assessment calendar. And then we cannot actually find out whether that is the best day for our students to do the assessment or not. So as a bare minimum, it needs to be date and title released. If you have any extra details that you need to release to the students, then all details can be released as well. Again, please make sure that you press the save button at the top corner here. If you have any questions about assessments and the assessment calendar, please let me know and I can try and help you out as best I can.